Hey Shannon, so I'm going to go over your feedback module, and there's a few different things on here, so I'm going to jump right in. So it's normal after a few months to sort of lose momentum and lose sight of our goals. And that's just because we get more comfortable and we just need more of that connection and kind of writing down a few things to get our minds kind of jolted again. So when you have a chance, fill this sheet out, and I think it'll help. You can either screenshot it and edit it, or you can just write the answers on a separate piece of paper. But I think it should help. Okay, so let's try to aim at doing 3 food logs per week. And I know it can be a little monotonous and boring, but also try to pre-plan either your breakfast, lunch, or dinner on those days, just so you know kind of how to intuitively navigate around that for the day. Because if you know you had a big calorie breakfast, that means your carbs and fats were higher, and you wouldn't do the same thing for your next 2 big meals. So the whole point is to, have more of that intuition and navigating in like a natural sense throughout the day with staying close to your calories. So this day I pulled from your food log to go over, and basically one of the things you could have done is when you realize you went over your calories, typically that means you went over your fats and carbs, but just look at like the highest calorie meal and try to see if you can do it like a smaller portion, and then you would have been more in line with your macro goals. So your biggest meal was Jimmy John's, which is totally easy to eat a high amount of calories because they are big subs with lots of good stuff on them and a lot of bread. But they also have like fats in them too from everything. So you don't have to not eat it. Like I would never say cut something out. It's just do a little bit of a smaller portion, and then it would have been a great day. So let me see. Okay, so your check-ins. So it's really good that you're feeling stronger. We have to build that muscle base. So I want to make sure each week you're sore, like not to the point where you are feeling like terrible in pain, but feeling sore each week with your upper and lower body, so that you know you're breaking down those muscle fibers and building muscle. So as I mentioned, this is the most pivotal time in a health and fitness journey, is especially the first 3 to 4 months, because that's when you do the most work, and that's when you're changing the most, and that's when you're learning the most. So it's easy to get sidetracked, especially after month 3. But that's why we're going to reinstate our goals and buckle down, because we want this. And okay, so your measurements, let's make a goal of hitting 43 inches on your waist by time March 15th hits. And I think that's totally doable. I think we're going to really buckle down. We're going to get in all 4 of our workouts for the week. And that's another thing. I want to, we've been doing about 4 workouts, but I want to make sure we do 4 workouts per week for sure. So upper and lower body and 2 cardios. Okay. And I kind of mentioned this earlier. Be conscious of where you place your higher calorie meals. So, for instance, if you, like I said, if you had a huge breakfast, you know, it was like 500 calories, you wouldn't have the same type of lunch and dinner, only if you didn't have any snacks in between. So if you usually eat some snacks in between lunch and dinner, or even after dinner, you would not make those last two big meals as large. So kind of just designate one of your meals to be bigger, like high calorie, way higher than the other ones. And then you can kind of gauge the rest of the meals to be less than that, but also always getting protein in with every meal, like a protein dense item serving, like chicken, tuna, yogurts, anything that's protein dense. And also double up on easy things, like chicken is so easy to double up on and get, 2 servings in. But this is kind of like what I do for lunches. It's a non-prep, like cooking type of meal, but it's more so just placing items together, like fruits, cheese, vegetables, chicken. I would choose 2 proteins to prep at the beginning of the week, like some sliced up marinated chicken, or have maybe some ground turkey meatballs, something easy that you can store for the next like 4 days and grab and place in an easy type of meal. The other meals, I mean, people don't want to cook for every meal, so it's super simple and easy if you could just place some items together and make a meal. So the chicken is obviously a lean protein. The veggies are obviously low fat and healthy. Fruit is a low 0 fat carb, and then you have your fats in there. I'm pretty sure that's hummus, and cheese, which are cheese has protein, but it is a fat dense food. So you have a mixture combination of your carbs, fats, and proteins, and everything is pretty lean in there except for the fat. Everything is pretty lean in there except for the cheese. So then you have your fat component right there. So you wouldn't choose a lot of higher fat items all placed together, like avocado, steak, cheese. Like those are all high fat items all being placed together. So it's good that there's one component that's fat dense, and then the other ones you have the protein and then the carbs. So, a good thing to do would be to go back to your food lists and rewrite out the things that you love with fruits, vegetables, proteins, healthy fats, etc. All right, I just mentioned that. I changed your macros a little bit. I upped your protein a little bit, and I lowered your fats a tiny bit. Still in the same calorie range, still the same calorie mark, but I just changed the ratios of your macros a little bit. So I want to try to aim at getting a little bit more protein in, and I lowered your fat a tiny bit. And this would be literally perfect. So we will continue to work on these things, and I can't wait to see this filled out. And we will talk soon. Just let me know if you have any questions. All right.